What's up guys, Skidvalve here. As you all know, my car is getting nitrous here in the near future, and the fuel pump will not be able to keep up in its current capacity. So, what we're going to be doing today in this short little video is installing a VMP fuel pump booster into my 4.6 2-valve. Now, VMP never really made a fuel pump booster designed to just plug and play into the 2-valve. Unfortunately, they only really did it for S197 and up. So what the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this connector. So today, we're going to be hardwiring it into the Mustang. Now I would like to use a 3-prong connector like this. Nice, quick, easy to detach if, for say, this were to go bad. But I need this like right now, and these gauges of wire are not thick enough. So I'm going to be showing you how to do it with crimp connects, because this is a mostly permanent installation. Basically what we're going to be doing is wiring this in line of the voltage going to the pump. So what this does is it uses a ground, the power source coming from the CCRM, and then power going in to the fuel pump module. Basically it taps in line of it to boost the voltage going to the fuel pump by using more amperage, from about 12 volts to 18 volts, thus making the pump work harder. Under normal circumstances, it's just going to make the pump cycle a lot less. When you're using more fuel than what you would stock, then it's going to basically be using the pump at the same amount, but now at the higher boosted voltage, which means that you're going to have more fuel. It's going to have higher capacity. So the first thing we're going to do, cut these ends off. Don't need it. According to the VMP manual, which I will have linked in the description, according to said manual, the red wire is the power coming from the CCRM to the fuel pump driver module. That is this wire. So you're going to cut the power wire from there. We're going to connect it in here with crimp connects. And then on the other side of the wire where we cut that connects to the FD-PDM, fuel pump driver module, we're going to connect this, and it basically goes in line of that wire. Here it just goes to ground. In the manual it states that this one is just ground and can go to like a bolt nearby to the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to add crimp connectors to all of these. First, stripping the wires, decent amount, giving it a little twist. Might have been a little too much. If it is a little too much, I can always take a little off the end. These dice are a little smooth still. Strip at the end here. Oh, it's already stripped, but I need a little bit more. Do a little twist. And on these, I'm going to be using a blue connector, I believe. Let's see. Yes, it's going to be a blue crimp connector, which would be 16 to 14 gauge AWG. Make sure that's fully seated. Bring it down and crimp. I got a nice strong connection there. And normally I would say solder this, but from what I've learned on car connections, you don't want to use solder because the solder likes to crack. Take it here. Crimp it again. And I haven't stated it before, but you're also going to want a 30 amp fuse to replace your 20 amp fuse in your front fuse box, because this is drawing more amperage to boost the voltage. Now the car can handle that, as it says right here in the manual, but you know, to be safe than sorry, you don't want it pulling more than 30 amps. So now we're going to switch over to the car. I'm going to hold off on doing anything to this one because I want to see where my closest bolt is. We're going to switch over to the car and start working on cutting and crimping over there. So we are in the trunk of the car. Now my interior is gutted in the back. Yours may vary. You may have to take some of this stuff out. But back right here to the left is your fuel pump driver module, where it connects into the inertial dampener switch over here, And this is the connector we're going to want to get to. And it's simply just a clip on the back side. It pops right out. That clip right there, you just push in and pull, it pops right out. Now, according to the manual, you want pin number 9. This one's 10, this one's 7, so it goes 10, 9, 8, 7. So you want the second pin on the top row, which is pink and black. If you can see what I'm saying. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my side cuts, and actually I'm going to cut this back some. Just like this. Basically, we just want to make it so we have some extra wire here just in case we cut it and we make a mistake and we have to cut some more. We're not all, you know, screwing ourselves getting into the connector. We have plenty of extra there. I'm going to give this a cut. 1 or 2. Ta-da. Now we have good access to this pink and brown number 9 wire. I'm actually going to cut it back a little bit so I have a little bit extra more just in case I come in here to do other stuff later, or perhaps return it to stock. We'll see. And if you cut it back a bunch like I am, probably going to want to cut some of this inner black too. Be careful not to cut any other wires. I'm going to take this pink and black wire, not the black and pink wire, that's 10 on the edge, the inner one, and on your car it may vary if you have a Cobra, and cut it back here. Gives us plenty of extra here, and if I need more this way, I can cut it out this way. Now this end of the wire, the one coming from the loom, is the power feed wire, and this is the one to the FDPM. So this is going to get the red wire, and this is going to get the orange wire. You see how thick this wire is. It doesn't look it, but the skin coating, the rubber on it is thick. So like I said, red on this side, so we're going to take my crimps, set it in, get it click to start, to kind of hold it, make sure this wire is twisted, set it in, crimp. Nice strong connection. And then the same thing on this side with the orange. Crimp it here. Kind of hold this out. Make sure I'm doing this in frame. Slide it in. And crimp. Now, 2 nice, sturdy, strong connections. At this point, I'm going to plug this back in to the fuel pump driver module. The car is off. The battery is disconnected. If I can get it to plug back in. I had it backwards. Click. Nice little click. And it is in. So, now, we got to worry about A, mounting this, because we don't want it bouncing around back here, and B, grounding this. So, the reason I didn't crimp a connector is, I want to try and use one of these factory ground spots, and it seems like this is the one they use for everything. So I'm going to go grab a drill, and unloosen that. This is actually a grounding point for a bunch of the factory stuff, as you can see by the green. So what we're going to go do, I'm going to grab another blue connector, but with a ring style, so we can just add it in right here. Got a ring style blue, like all the other ones, putting it in the crimper. putting the black in the other side, sliding it in. If I can get it to slide in. This end is a little messed up. I'm gonna re-cut and crimp it. Twist. Slide. And crimp. Now we got a nice solid ground lead. Now we can stick in here. And we kind of want to put this in a way where it's not going to interfere with us mounting it. So I want to mount the box somewhere over here. I'm going to put it just like this. Up in here. Just like that. Take our green bolt, wherever I just set it. Right here. Take our stock one, this one, and this. Slide it all back together. And ratchet it back down. Ta-da! Now that is tight. So all that's left is mounting the box. Now there is nothing on the other side of this. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to riv nut right here, a hole or two, and bolt it to that. So let me go grab my riv nutting tools. So I've got my riv nut stuff set up. I'm going to be using a pair of two M5 riv nuts and two M5 bolts. I'm going to find roughly where I want it to go. Thinking right there, and I'll put one in the top, one in the bottom. It's not very heavy, so I think 4 might just be, honestly, probably be overkill. I want to get it on in such a way that I can hold it and take my center punch and do this. That gives me a nice spot to start my drill, so I know I'm in the right spot. Be careful of not being too far this way so you don't hit the FDPDM, FPDM, fuel pump, basically the control module for the fuel pump. Obviously I'm over far enough to where it's not going to do anything. Clean that hole out. Check that it's clean. Check that my stuff still aligns. But we have a nice tight riv nut. And we're all riv nutted in. So that is all we have to do with the installation back here. You can zip tie these wires off like I'm about to, just to help keep them tighter. But I am leaving them kind of loose. And my snips, snipping that. Just to help stop anything from getting caught. And that is it for installing it back here. But don't forget, we still gotta swap out the fuse. Last but not least, you come over to your front of the car battery box, take this off. It actually shows you a diagram. And then if you come into the manual, it also gives you a diagram. If you look right here, it says fuel pump, 20 amp, number 14. Number 14 is this back left corner, which is a 20 amp here, which is what it says in the manual. I have went and got a replacement 30 amp because this, by upping the voltage, it's going to draw more amperage. It's hard to tell there. So we're going to take my pliers, pull out the 20 amp, plug in the 30 amp, and now you're good to go ahead and start the car. Car in the weird idle, the car has some vacuum issues. Yep, simple as that. Pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple, and now you're good to make probably roughly 30% more fuel at the top end on a duty cycle. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it's helpful. Have a wonderful day.